This NFL draft betting edition of the Stephie Small Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in a ton of states, and you get $10 free with promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN. The NBA playoffs are here, which means it's the perfect time to subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast, available on the SGPN app or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's
Stephie touch balls, betting it all on the power bottom falls top drop the football. Like hopes they've been teasing, they're missing the fall season. ACL twisted, bank account freezing, but Smalls caught the shots like some more reason. Leaderboard rising while the slot machine's ringing. She's slinging player stats like Nostradamus. $100 bills raining down upon us.
We are closing in on the NFL draft. And every year, especially for the listeners that have been listening to this show before it even was the Stephie Small Show, knows that there is someone that we need to have on every single year before the draft, leading up to the draft. And that's Jason Gold. Find him on Twitter at JasonGold24. And you'll have to tell me all about it at NFL_Gold. How are you? I want to hear all about the NFL Gold. Like, tell me about where people should subscribe. You also have another, like a companion to
I'll do a little quick pitch here. So I kind of started this as a side project. So you can subscribe to my Substack, NFL Gold. All sorts of off-season bets going on over there. Interesting articles to just find things that I find interesting within the NFL draft or the NFL in general. And then, I built two side tools for the NFL draft. One is the NFL draft trade machine. Just go on there if you're a fan of the Commanders and you want to trade down, you can kind of mix and match and see what your team might be able to do in the draft. That's kind of a fun tool. And then the tradebet.com, which basically is comparing head-to-head odds based on underdog mock draft data. You can also search those against Kalshi, any sort of bet that you want to put together. That'll give you kind of an idea of what sort of edge you have on any sort of NFL draft bet.
That's awesome. So everyone needs to go check that out. I need to check it out even more as we're closing in. I was just kind of saying to Ryan, the week before the draft is where a lot of people can get caught like with their pants down because a lot of bullshit starts coming out, and it's a really easy way to place some bets that ultimately you're just leaning into a lot of bullshit. Is there anything that you've heard the last couple of days you're like, just this is ridiculous?
I think most of what you hear a week out is like the turn off your brain season. Like you can connect a lot of dots, but a lot of it's just kind of smoke and movement right now. So I wouldn't really be betting too heavily into all of the rumors that you're hearing, unless you want to play the prediction market game, which is if you hear a rumor, go bet it quickly and then sell out of it when the rest of the rat race gets to it.
Sure.
Now you're selling, 5 cents at a time, but there is a way to make a profit on doing that and just rumor mongering. So if you want to take that angle, go for it, but you got to be on it full time.
Yeah, I think one of, you're hearing about the Jets nonstop. Do you have a take on this? Smoke, no smoke? Where are we at with what the Jets are doing?
If I knew the answer to that, I would be a much richer person come next Thursday. This is a really tough one. I trust the National Insider guys a lot on this, and they seem to be leaning towards Bailey, although Daniel Jeremiah walked it back a little bit today. So I think it's a true 50-50. I do think that if Arvell Reese is there at 3, I think the Cardinals would go that direction instead of trying to trade out potentially if David Bailey's there. My hunch is that whichever edge is there, that's where Arizona's going to go over going for a right tackle. I just don't see a team trading up to 3. So you're talking about like the Cowboys or the Rams or the Dolphins or someone like that trading up to 3. I think that's ideally what Arizona would like to do. I just don't think that they're going to get the package. So I think that whatever edge doesn't go 2 will go 3. So then the question is, we got to get the right order there. I've been on Reese the entire time. I still think it should be Reese. I think that their GM, Mogi, is doing a great job, and he should not be taking into account at all Aaron Glenn's job being safe or not when making this pick. Now, I understand if they want to just plug and play someone, David Bailey's the guy. If they want someone who's going to be elite for 2026 or at least better, I understand why they would go Bailey. But you look at what Aaron Glenn built in Detroit, and you could really utilize that hybrid role really well. So I still think it makes sense to go Reese. I think you go for the guy who could be wearing a Hall of Fame jacket at 2 over Bailey, who I don't think is that quite that prospect. But again, this is not about me. This is about reading the tea leaves about what I think they're going to do. And I would
Yeah.
say right now 60-40 Bailey, but I don't feel firm about anything there.
Yeah. I think the next question comes into play is going to be with Jeremiyah Love. I saw on Lucky Rebel when I did the show last week, his draft position market was at 4.5. It actually got pulled down at one point, and now it's back up at 5.5. The over is plus 125, under is minus 165. Like with Love, where's the earliest and where's the latest that we see him go, you think?
I'm not buying the smoke on him at 3 to Arizona. I don't see that one. They brought in Tyler Algier. They still have James Conner. They have a lot of other needs. I understand, Mike LaFleur's system getting a running back in there kind of makes some sense, but I don't think that's the direction they'll go. I think Tennessee's real. I think that that's possible. There's a reason he's minus 110 in the market right now to be the 4th pick. I can definitely see that. I do think that they have other needs. I would say he's probably maybe a true 50-50 to go there. I do think that they're interested in Sonny Styles. I could see them going offensive line. So Giants at 5, I think is real also. I would peg that more at like a 25%. I think that Styles is interesting. I think Downs is interesting. And I think that, your right guard, right tackle situation is also potentially interesting there as well. I had bet previously on Dillon to be the pick at 5. I am going to lose that bet. That's fine. It was plus 1830 when I bet it, but I don't think that's in the running anymore. I think it'll be either the Ohio State defenders or it'll be right guard, right tackle, or Love. I could see 6 being a spot that he goes in a trade up, or 7 to the Commanders, or the Commanders trading out. So somewhere in that range. I think that if I had to bet right now, I'd probably take that under 5.5, thinking that either the Giants or Titans take him. Slightly towards that. But I don't feel great about that. I've had this thing in my head the entire time that I think that the Rams are going to come up for Jeremiyah Love.
Okay.
If he gets the 6 and the Browns, I think that is a trade that makes a lot of sense for them to jump the Commanders and go up and get Love. They've been first of all, they've been way too quiet in this draft process, which means Les Snead and Sean McVay are planning something. The last 2 drafts, they have tried to trade up for Brock Bowers and Tedero McMillan. They clearly want another playmaker there. Everyone asks, well, why do they need a running back? They absolutely don't need a running back. But this is Les Snead and Sean McVay. They do weird shit that always seems to work out for them. And I think that's very much in play for him to be the 6th pick.
Okay, so now I'm going to the Rams. We're going to jump all over the place at this point here. What about Sadiq there? Like, is there any way that they go and take a tight end? I mean, they love their tight ends. And then after Puka and, having another playmaker there, and especially getting one that is a good run blocker, is solid hands. He's only turning 21, I think, in March. He's a very young guy. I mean, could we see him go to the Rams?
Yeah, I tweeted this earlier. They love having teammates that have chemistry. So both of their cornerbacks came over from Kansas City. They obviously know how to play well together. They drafted specifically Jared Verse and Braden Fisk from Florida State. They were on the same defensive line. They traded up to get Braden Fisk because they wanted those two with their chemistry. Now you're talking about their first pick last year is Terrence Ferguson, the tight end from Oregon. Now you have Sadiq potentially there. Those two obviously had played together and worked together in 12 personnel sets at Oregon. I think that is an interesting pairing. Ultimately, I don't think that is what they're going to do. I do think that decision comes down to either a trade up for Jeremiyah Love or one of the wide receivers, or potentially going offensive line at 13. I think the reason that they don't go Sadiq is that you're in this very tight window with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford right now, where tight ends traditionally take a little bit of time to develop. Even like a Tyler Warren came out blazing. He fell off a little bit at the end. He still has some development. Colston Loveland didn't really show up until the end of that season. The only one who really broke out year 1 was Brock Bowers. For as much as I love my Oregon Ducks, Sadiq is not that sort of player. I think he's going to take some time to develop in the NFL.
Sure.
And I don't know if the Rams can wait on someone to develop like that.
Yeah, I see someone in the chat saying Sadiq to the Chiefs, and I talked about this. I gave out the Chiefs to take a tight end at 10-1 if you're going to play Sadiq. That's the way to do it. But do the Chiefs do that? Now I'm also growing on the cornerback route. Like Chiefs wise, I don't have them pegged any which way. Have you bet the Chiefs market? Where are you at with them?
I haven't really bet the Chiefs market
I just have them to take a
specifically.
tight end at 10-1 because I could see it there. But I think we're gonna end up seeing some trades ahead that might impact what they do there.
Given the fact that they never pick at 9 and they need help immediately, as that's
Mhm.
kind of the same thing with Sadiq. Like, yes, they need a replacement for Travis Kelsey at some point. I don't think Sadiq helps all that much this year. They're in win now mode.
Mhm.
So I think it'll be someone more immediate, would be my guess. I think that they could, if like Arvell Reese is there at 3, could they make a massive move up and go get Reese?
Mhm.
Uh, Potentially. But if you're sitting at 9, I'm thinking that they're going in some order. Their board would be wide receiver. So Jordan Tyson's getting a lot of smoke to 9. I could see
Less
that.
325 there for them to take a wide receiver.
I don't think Tate's going to be there at 9. And then Delane makes obviously a ton of sense for them. They've done a really good job of developing cornerbacks later in the draft with Spags. So they
Right.
don't think that they feel pressure because they traded away their cornerbacks that they need to do that. And I think the one that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb is you have Patrick Mahomes back there coming off of an injury. You need a right tackle.
Mhm.
Is it, Maui Noah or Fano or whomever you feel comfortable with at right tackle there at 9? That's kind of the one that is sticking in my head where, okay, premium position, need now, you got to protect your best asset. That one kind of makes sense to me.
So then there's also going to be a lot of this talk, and it's easy, you can say whatever joke you want, character concern players, where they end up. You've got Bain here. If Bain is sitting there, like, are we at, like, Bain's line is sitting at what, like 8.5, I think? 9.5?
Yeah, heavily
Eight and a
juiced to the
half it
over.
is, yeah. The over is minus 320. The under is plus 230. I still feel like he is going to go over the 8.5. Will I get there by next week because I'm letting everything get into my head? Maybe. But are the Chiefs an option for Bain to go there?
My last mock draft, I had Bain at 9. I think that does make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Since then, more news has come out about his car and off the field stuff. Do they really want to go through something like that after having Rasheed Rice? I'm not sure that they want to go down that route. But he certainly would fit what they want on defense. He's kind of a better version of, George Karlaftis kind of had those short arms too,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of the same height. So I could see them being very interested. I would not be surprised. I do like the over 8.5. I think the only place where you get into a concern about the 8.5 is New Orleans. And I just see them going, I see New Orleans going in a different direction there. So
Mhm.
I would, I have played the over 8.5. The juice is probably a little bit too much at this point, but
Yeah, it
I,
definitely is, but
I like directionally. I like that, and I think the first place that he comes off the board is 9, 10, something like that.
it reminds me a lot of last year. I know they're very different situations in their own way, but it reminds me a lot of Pierce Jr. And I that line was different. The market tells me that they think he's going over. It was a little bit different for Pierce Jr. last year. But I don't foresee a team taking that risk there. Like, I understand the teams have known. I understand the family said this. I also understand that there's a chance maybe the family is also waiting for him to get paid when he gets drafted. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many levels to it. So for me, I don't know that I'm even, plus 230 is not enough for me to take the under here.
Yeah, and I mean specifically for the Chiefs, outside of the cornerback spot, I think that they have to do whatever they have to do to maximize that offense because
Mm-hmm.
that's really how the Chiefs are going to end up winning more Super Bowls. They got to
Sure.
superpower their offense a little bit more.
Sure. Before we get into a little bit more, Kalshi is a real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states. Kalshi has a ton of trading options for your favorite sports. New Kalshi customers get $10 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Underdog has you covered for pick'em for almost every sport. Underdog has just increased their payouts. 2-pick entries now pay 3.5x, and 3-pick entries now pay 6.5x. Here's a pick'em entry I like for next NFL season, huh? Nick Bonito higher, 11.25 season sacks. Saquon Barkley lower, 1,224.5 season rushing yards. And Tyler Shuck lower, 3,499.5 season pass yards. Get you 6.5x. Your money's Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with code SMALLS. I've done a very good job betting on the Saints the last couple drafts here. I will hand up admit I'm a little unsure where I think they're going to go this draft. I think cornerback is a something that they could take a look at there. Is it going to be wide receiver though? I have where my question comes in is are they going to bring in a guy with medical, whatever the medicals are in Tyson, while they already have Olave on the roster with also medical problems? Like, are we really going to have that be our wide receiver room? Like, it's a hard sell for me.
I do not think, unless Tyson tests, so he has his test tomorrow morning. If he tests well and does all the tests, yeah, I could see this being a top 10 pick. Otherwise, I don't really see it right now. I think that if Tate was there at 8, he would probably be the pick. I think the order of their board probably goes Tate and then Mansour Delane and then Rueben Bain and then probably Jordan Tyson. That would be my hunch right now, how they're stacking their board.
There's no Delane draft position line out, right? Does no one know where this guy is going? Is that what's going on?
I assume that it will be, you know what, Circa might have put one on there at 10.5. I think that just came out today, which is about the number that I would think that he would go. Yeah. I would have set that number probably at 9.5.
Yeah.
Just because I think that the decision becomes between the Chiefs and the Bengals, depending on where Caleb Downs goes. Because if Downs goes ahead, I think that Delane would be the pick at 10. If Delane and Downs are both on the board, I think that Downs goes 10 to the Bengals and Delane goes 11 to Miami or 12 to the Cowboys.
Okay. I talked a lot about this, and I'll just get your take on it. I tweeted about it today because I wanted to get Commanders fans' input on it, and why they seem like they would be kind of upset with secondary at their pick. For me, I don't fully understand that. It seems like they're kind of split 50. A lot of them still very much think they're getting Love, and I just don't believe that's occurring.
I think that they are so dead set on 3 players. I'm talking for the fan base here. They want Carnell Tate, they want Jeremiyah Love, and they want Sonny Styles. I think that those are the 3 players that they're dead set on. One of them's probably, I would assume, likely to be there. One of the 3 will be there, unless they go, 4, 5, 6, which I guess is possible. I would not be surprised to see them go Mansour Delane.
Okay.
But I would think that he's probably 4th on the board. I'm assuming that those other, and also like a trade out. I think a trade out is a real possibility there. If those 3 guys are gone and it's Delane on the board as their number 1 player, I would not be surprised at all if they trade out to whether the Rams want to come out, one of the Cowboys want to come out. Well, Cowboys, Washington probably won't happen, but something like that. Maybe Miami wants to come up for an offensive lineman. I could see that happening.
Yeah, and I was looking too, because I don't know, McCoy kind of feels a little bit more commandery, but they've done really no work with him at all. They have done a lot with Lemon, so I think if they trade back, that might be a direction that they potentially go.
Yeah, potentially. Washington has been a team that cares a ton about testing and their RAS scores. So you're looking for, and specifically younger players. So that's kind of the direction that I would go. These high RAS guys, especially like Sonny Styles is like perfect. Like he was like a 10 RAS guy. That's got to be like
So
their ideal target.
Do they go Bain?
I don't think so, because he doesn't have the requisite size that you're
That's
talking
true.
about.
That's
I would be very surprised if Washington ended up with Bain.
Okay. Ty Simpson, we got to bring it up. You know what's crazy about Ty Simpson is this is like classic draft where like there was a burst of all of a sudden like he's going first round. You haven't heard really a peep about him the last like 10 days.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that situation. It feels like it's a done deal that he's going to end up on Arizona one way or another. It doesn't seem like anyone else is truly interested. Now it becomes, well, is there a surprise team? No, not at least in the first round or early second round that I could see doing it. The Jets, I don't think that they're going to end up pulling the trigger on that deal. So if you're Arizona, maybe Cleveland at 24, that's where the line is set, but it's heavily juiced to the over. I don't think that Cleveland's going to be interested in that this year. So if it is Arizona, the question is, are they trading up into the first round? Do they have to? And does it behoove them to do so to get that extra year on the contract? Generally, it does. Generally, those teams come up like they did for Jackson Dart last year. And then you're talking about teams that would trade out. So, 26 with Buffalo makes a lot of sense. 28 with Houston makes a lot of sense. 32 just to swap, one or two spots with Seattle makes a ton of sense, even though that's within division. So I do think ultimately he probably ends up in the first round, but that over 24.5, I just can't see anyone trading up that high to beat out the Browns to take him, because I don't think the Browns would take him at 24.
It would be very surprising to me. You're hearing a lot like the Jackson Dart situation. I don't know that any team loves him the way that like the Giants loved Jackson Dart either. Like, I don't think that that's the situation that we have going on here. And I think no one's going to really want to trade up for him unless it is like one of those last couple spots there.
I mean, I can tell you that the Jets are hoping that he doesn't go in the first round so that someone has to trade to 33 to get him. If this number was like 33.5 for Ty Simpson, I would double click the under so hard. I can't see him getting past the first pick of the second round.
I placed a bet today. Jacksonville Jaguars to take a wide receiver at plus 800. Hunter is no longer going to be playing wide receiver. They said they're going to have some packages for him, whatever it is. Why wouldn't they keep up with, they have holes, and they don't have holes on the roster. Their roster is pretty good. Like, it's a good roster, and they're not having a lot of turnover here. Could they go wide receiver?
Totally. They're picking like 55 in the second round, something like that. It totally makes sense. It's probably going to be a good range. There's going to be a lot of good wide receivers in the second round. They also have a ton of third round picks. So if they want to move up to the top of the second round, they can easily do so. So right now, their wide receiver, Brian Thomas, who I'm assuming is going to be on the team. I don't think they're going to trade him. Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers. It's not a huge need, but it is definitely something that they could utilize. They could also go offensive line. I mean, there's other places they could go, but for what price did you get?
Plus 800.
Yeah. So for that, an 8-1 shot that they go wide receiver, I don't think that that's a bad bet at all.
Yeah. Talk to me here about Caleb Downs. I mean, his draft position line, 9.5. The over is plus 135. The under is minus 180. Kind of another guy that you weren't hearing a lot about again, and now he's peeping back into the news as we're like closing in on the draft here. A lot of people are pinning him to the Giants. Where are you at?
So I bet the over 9.5. Then the market steamed way up. It got to minus 330 on the over. And now with the mock drafts that came out yesterday, now we're looking at the under being steamed way the other way. So really interesting market. I think it's a true 50-50. I think it's lined right. I lean towards the over. I just don't see a great spot where other players wouldn't be ranked ahead of him on the board. I don't see the Giants doing it. I think that one of their other guys is going to be there. 6 doesn't make sense. 7, I think there's going to be other guys for Washington or a trade out. 8, I don't think that safety is their number one priority. 9, I haven't heard anything about the Chiefs and Downs for a while. I think that 10 is the spot that ultimately he goes. And I think that if he's on the board for the Bengals, they would jump at the opportunity to get them unless something crazy happens and someone's on the board that we're not foreseeing at this point. If he somehow gets past 10, I have to imagine that Miami and Dallas are going to, battle it out for him. But I don't think so.
That's like a wet dream for Jerry Jones. Like if he makes it there without having to trade, that is absolutely just a wet dream for Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So I think Downs goes 10. I've been firm on him going 10 for a long time. I think it makes sense for the way the draft board's going to work out. So I would slightly into the over. Probably wouldn't bet it at this point, given the mock drafts that came out. But that's the way I would lean.
Sweet. Before I get some of your favorite bets, Rhythm is your official data tool for dominating NBA, MLB, and golf. Let Rhythm's models help you cash in or build your own to dominate the books. Looking to go premium? Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Novig, you're getting the best prices. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig. Promo code SGPN. I love this because I'm using it as a sounding board to like finalize my card and see what I need to finish about it. What are some of your favorite bets for the draft that maybe people could still get value on, or even just your favorite bets that you placed in general?
I mean, I've placed a lot of bets so far. I would say
we know. Well, I know you did.
I would say that this week is kind of the week where I kind of take my foot off the gas of actually betting stuff and just kind of seeing where the market's going to go.
Yeah.
I think once Monday starts, Monday to Thursday is going to be like you're actually going to see where the board's going to break. So I would bet a lot then. A lot of the stuff that I have now is like
Mhm.
longer shots, and
Sure.
round one guys has been like my biggest bets so far this draft season. So Concepcion, I got it -200. I still think that's good. You can bet that one. Chris Johnson's probably my favorite one on the board that everyone can bet right
Okay.
now. I saw it between -150 and -185 earlier. My numbers have this close to about 80-85%. So you're talking about a much higher juice number. I really, really like that one. I think he's going to be the third cornerback off the board.
Sweet.
Um, if you can get Jacob Rodriguez to be the second linebacker drafted, I got this yesterday on Kalshi at 525. I think that number's gotten steamed, but I do think he's going to be the second linebacker taken in the
Okay.
draft. So I like that one. Some longer shots that I have bet recently. Let's see. Mansour Delane, number 8 at 550. Oh, I'll also say this. Numbers that I still like out there. Mansour Delane to be cornerback 1, -250. I like that. I don't think that McCoy is going to be jumping over Delane. I think the latest that Delane goes is
Yeah.
12, and I don't really see a spot for McCoy unless the Bengals do something crazy at 10. Um, Dillon Thieneman, if you still have it out there, under 18 and a half, I bet that. I think that 12 to
I have
Dallas,
that as
18 to
well.
Minnesota is a good
Mhm.
spot. Longer shot out there. Oh, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, first round pick. He's still
Okay.
floating like that -250. I think he's going to go, depending on what your number is at your individual book, over 2.5 safeties might be a less juiced number there. It's essentially the exact same bet. So look for the juice on
I think I
that.
was looking at that. Yeah. That's a good
So
one.
I definitely think that he's going to be a first round pick at this
Okay.
point. Longer shots that I have bet recently, as in like the last couple days. Kenyon Sadiq to Minnesota at 18. This is not one that I have seen very often. I do think, given their situation with no general manager, I think that Kevin O'Connell has a large voice in that room right now. I know most people have gone defense for them, and that's probably the favorite for a reason. But I do think that if he's the one calling the shots, there's a good chance with TJ Hawkinson's injury history and the way that he wants to play offense and having Kyler Murray, who's done well with tight ends before, getting a guy like Kenyon Sadiq in there might be interesting. That one was 1500 plus 1500.
I bet
Um,
I bet the Vikings first pick. In like some crazy world that the Vikings trade up and take Love is like the crazy, probably my
yeah,
craziest long shot that I could kind of see happening. I know that Jones, I think they just gave him like a little bit of an extension, but it was just like a friendly, team friendly type deal. I wouldn't write that off. Like I'm not writing off them trying to do something crazy and take Love.
hey, they got no GM, so if it's on the
They
coach
can
and
do
he
whatever
doesn't
the
care about
fuck
the
they
draft
want at
picks,
this point.
exactly. So I could definitely see something crazy with Minnesota. I would not rule that out at all. Um, Texans first pick to be a cornerback plus
Okay.
2200. You would think that the Texans are definitely going offensive line. It's definitely their biggest need. If secondary to that, defensive line. We've talked a lot about Caden McDonald being their pick at 28. They have sneakily brought in Chris Johnson and Colton Hood, who are obviously both going to be first round picks or early second round draft picks. I would not be surprised if the Texans, who have committed all this money to Derek Stingley and are probably not going to pay any of their other secondary players a lot of money to bring in a cornerback and solidify that defense. So
I have
I
a
could,
I
yeah,
bet them to take a wide receiver as a long shot. I think I got 16 to 1 or 14 to 1 on that.
that would surprise me just because they took the two Iowa State running wide receivers last
Yes.
year. But given the range that they're drafting in at 28, that's probably going to be like a good spot for it. So
Mhm.
it's possible. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I bet at some point Kenyon Sadiq to be there at plus 2,800 just
I
because
have that. I take it on that too.
Schultz is, he's not that guy. Like, he's there, he's competent, but like Sadiq would be a real difference maker. And if you're trying to figure out, oh, I'm going to give CJ Stroud 60 million a
Yeah,
year,
right,
yeah, let's figure it out. So I
right,
could see that.
right. Absolutely. Any other bets? Any other thoughts about the draft that you want to throw out here before wrap up and let you get out of here?
Well, yes, please God, let the Rams do something crazy on draft day. This
Crazy.
is this is what I'm circling. I have this theory that they've been too quiet. They're going to do something. I don't know if it's going to be offense or defense. You would assume offense, but if they're all in and they have this 13th pick that they traded for last year, and by some miracle they're picking this high, and there are 6 or 7 blue chip prospects in this draft and 3 or 4 teams that want to trade down, and this is the ultimate FU or F them picks team, they just strike me as a team who's going to go up and do something weird. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And if you can figure out what that is, there's probably a big profit to be made somewhere.
I kind of love it. Kind of love it. I need to figure out. Sometimes I have some birdies in my DMs that know some Rams stuff. Maybe I need to put some feelers out and see what I can figure out.
Let's see.
Let's see what I can figure out. Let's see what we can brew up. Let everyone know where they can find you. Make sure you guys like, rate, review the pod. We'll be back for another Ask Smalls Anything. So speakpipe.com/Stephie Smalls. You guys can ask any questions over there. Be moderately creepy sometimes is fine. Anything else is not accepted. But tell everyone where they can find you. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, at NFL Gold on Twitter. You can find all the other links right there. Thanks for having me on. I loved it. Can't wait for next week. Let's go.
Oh, I love it. It's the best. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Stephie Small Show, sports gambling. Play some bets on winners and catastrophe. If you want to know where to put the money, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is the place to be.